and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we have your September month ahead prediction. So if you're curious what's happening for you within this next month, then this is the right video. But before we dive into it, I wanted to give a huge shout out to Keen, who are kindly sponsoring today's pick a card reading. If you have not heard of Keen before, they're essentially a huge online network full of psychics and spiritual advisors that are there to answer your life's questions. And a couple of the things that I really love about Keen is the fact that they are online. So no matter where you live in the world and no matter what time it is, you can log on and browse through available psychics that also range from different prices, and you get to choose the amount of time that you want to spend with your psychic. My personal experience with Keen has been great so far. I've had a few different psychics predict some really accurate things for me, and I just recently got a new reading because I'm working on a really big project and I wanted to know what another psychic saw for me regarding this really big project that I have, and she really tapped into what I was planning and the different things that I was wanting to create and the different doors that I was wanting to open afterwards. And so this whole reading was really resonant, and she gave some really great advice and also some really great insights on this project. And that's really exciting, and it was really fun to get a reading from another psychic and just see their insights and their perspective on what I'm currently working on. But if you're thinking about trying Keen, I would highly recommend trying out a few different psychics before choosing the one that you spend your most time with, because each psychic reads a little bit differently and you want to find one that resonates with you. And I'd also highly recommend writing down your questions in advance. That way you can make the most of your time with your psychic. And if you want to get started with Keen, you can use my link trykeen.com/gem to get your first 5 minutes for only $1. And again, that link is trykeen.com/gem to get your first 5 minutes for only $1. The link will also be down below in the description box. And thank you so much to Keen for sponsoring today's video. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right back into your September prediction. Hello my loves, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we have our September month ahead prediction. So if you are curious what you can expect through the month of September, then you came to the right place. What we do on this channel is I read the tarot cards and I ask Spirit to bring information for your highest good at this time to let you know what you can expect through the month of September. So the way that this video works is I have 4 different groups in front of me. Over here we have group number 1 with some Tanzanite or quartz on top of it. Then we have group number 2 with some rose quartz, group number 3 with some peach Botswana, and then group number 4 with some pyrite. So depending on which crystal you are crystal or pile that you are the most intuitively drawn towards, that is going to be the pile that is going to reveal what you can expect through this next month. So the way that you tap into your intuition is, for one, a lot of people will look at the piles and they will just feel unexplainably drawn or magnetized towards one of them. If you have trouble intuitively choosing based on looking at the groups, another thing that you can do is to hold your hand and just gently go over each of the piles and feel if there's one that you feel magnetized towards, or if there's one that gives you a hot or cold sensation, or it just feels like there's some sort of pull towards it. So that's another little method that I like to do. If you would like to have a close-up of the crystals to see them, then over here we have our gorgeous Tanzanite aura quartz. And this is again for group number 1. So if you're drawn to this crystal or this pile, then this is going to be your September prediction. Group number 2, we have this gorgeous rose quartz. It's such a clear, beautiful, big piece of rose quartz. If you find yourself drawn to that one, that is going to be your reading. Group number 3, we have this stunning piece of peach Botswana. Some of you have been thinking about the beach lately, maybe that's a sign. So that is for group number 3. And then group number 4, we have this gorgeous piece of pyrite. So if you're drawn to group number 4, then that is going to be your pile for your September prediction. You can take a moment, pause the video, and take as much time as you need to find out which pile you're the most drawn towards. Maybe it's even multiple piles. That is quite a common thing that happens, and that just means that there's multiple messages for you in today's video. And timestamps are going to be linked down below in the comment box and the description box so that you can easily navigate and skip towards your personal reading for the month of September. And I'm so excited to get into this reading. I hope you are too. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, my group number ones, if you chose this pile, this is going to be your September prediction. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. Okay, to start us off, we're going to go into the Astro Dice to get information right off the bat for you. So we have Mercury in Capricorn in the 7th house. The 7th house is the house of relationships. It can be our close, intimate relationships, such as our partner. It's also the house of marriage, but it is also the house of like business partnerships and being more in the public eye, being more out there and seen. So there could be something here where you are just communicating more, socializing more within the month of September, especially with Mercury being here. Like, there's a lot of communication coming through. There could be somebody that maybe you are talking to. So if you're single, this could be talking about like where you stand with somebody. It could be talking about like commitments or where you see that relationship going. If some of you are in business, this would potentially be networking and meeting people or forming really great business partnerships, business bonds. There is something here significant with a relationship. So if you are already married and all of that, maybe you are thinking about more of the future and what you want to solidify, because Capricorn is all about solidifying. It is commitment. It is setting things in stone, kind of, per se. And Mercury is just all communication, planning, figuring things out. And again, the 7th house is an important partnership of some kind. So again, that could deal with love or it could deal with business. It could also deal with a friendship for some of you, but most of the time, the 7th house is more along the lines of like really intimate things based on either marriage or romantically dating somebody that is very serious, or again, business partnerships. So it's like things that we're really tied to with other people. So there's definitely that coming through for your month of September. So of course you're going to know what's the most relevant for you based on your personal situation. But that is Mercury being in the 7th house. It's just opening up a lot of communication, a lot of planning in that area of your life. So let's see what else we get for you for the month of September. So we do also have the 3 of Wands. This is huge planning. There's a huge thing here about planning. The 3 of Wands talks about us on a journey. We're in the midst of a journey and we're looking at the road ahead of us and where we are going, and we're making a plan for the future because we're seeing there's a lot of potential here. There's a lot of potential with our future. So we're really embarking on a big journey. The 3 of Wands can sometimes also indicate travel. So if any of you do have travel plans, or again, there could be travel plans coming up through the month of September, usually the 3 of Wands is like, usually it's more quick trips, and it's usually a little bit more local. So it could be like within your country, like a trip within your country, or at least a nearby place. So it could talk about trips like that. And again, I'm definitely getting this feeling like there's an energy of being really excited about the future and what the future holds, because there's so much expansion within the 3 of Wands, and it usually talks about partnerships as well, which is quite interesting. So there's somebody in your life where you're talking about your future with them, whether that be in a business sense or in a romantic sense. And you are talking again just about the future and what the future has to hold. We also have the 5 of Wands here and the Star. The 5 of Wands is when we're settling different opinions. So within your business or career, or within your romantic partnership, or all of the above, because sometimes tarot has so many layers where it's literally talking about all of the above for us. And the 5 of Wands can be where there's like differing opinions and we need to come to a common ground. So the month of September, there's a significant person in your life where you are having conversations to get on the same page together and to figure out how to navigate moving forward, how to navigate your future so that both of you are being heard, both of you are being understood, both of you are having your wants and desires met, right? So I do feel like there's going to be some important conversations to get you sort of both on the same page and have the same vision for the future. The star card is when we know that there is so much in front of us, we know that there's so much ahead of us, and it's coming back to a place of hope and trust in the universe and the unfoldment. There's something big in your future where you are definitely looking at some big stuff that is perhaps like unfolding here. And maybe you're wanting more clarity on what that looks like. Because the star really lets me know like you are being divinely guided right now, but there's still a lot of like unknowns. And the star is when there's also a lot of magic surrounding us. And so the universe is saying to trust the process because there's so much magic around you regarding this special bond or this special partnership. There's a lot of potentiality here to expand it even further. There's a lot of potentiality here to unlock new realizations, new manifestations, new dreams, new potentials in your future. And you're just being divinely guided in that direction. The star can also be where we're awakening inner knowings, inner gifts, inner callings. And we're really trusting so much more of the process. We're trusting so much more in the universe. And this is a time, this is a month of really placing your trust in the universe. So what is your intention? Where do you want things to go? Trust that things are going to work out because the star is just this guiding beacon of light that's leading you somewhere very positive. I am almost feeling like within the next 5 months, there is something really big shifting in your life. And it's in regards to what's being talked about this September. It's in regards to what's being figured out this September. There's something kind of big happening in around 5 months from now where this star, this is leading you there. There is some sort of inner calling that you have, and also trust your inner callings right now. So if you have things on your mind where you just have this gut instinct, you just have this inner calling, you just have this inner feeling, it's like unexplainable, it's time to be open about that because that's there for a reason. And that's really coming through, that inner calling is there for a reason. But also have faith, okay? Approach this with faith. All right, we also have the 9 of Cups. It is being reversed in your reading. However, it's still a really positive card, whether upright or reversed. So the 9 of Cups is when we get a wish. When it's reversed, we feel like this wish is either a little bit delayed, or we feel like there's still a little bit more to do before it comes to completion. There's still a few more kinks to work out before it's at its full completion. But it's kind of like, you know, that has a lot of potential. That's really coming together. There's something that's really coming together for you. I also think that you will be working out and figuring out what makes you the most happy. What is it that you really need? This is also a month of communicating what it is that you really want and need, because maybe there's something in your life where you're like, you know what, there is something that I feel like is kind of missing, or there's something that I feel like I need to talk about in order to bring more fulfillment. But this is a month to express that. Oh my goodness, this is a month to express what is it that you really want and need that's going to bring you the most fulfillment. And one important question that just popped into my head while looking at this, Spirit is saying to ask yourself, who are you living for? Are you living for yourself, or are you living for the happiness and pleasure of others? Okay. Yes, it's nice to please other people. Oh my God, that's such a beautiful thing to be able to do. However, we should never sacrifice, it should never come at the expense of our own happiness, right? We should never have to spend and sacrifice our happiness for the happiness of somebody else. You know, of course, in relationships, there is always a little bit of compromise. So I'm not saying that. I don't want to be misconstrued there. But when it comes to those big things that are really important to you, things that you know, it's like, my soul is aching for this. My soul wants this. My soul wants to do this, wants to go for this. Like, who are you living for? So this is time to, this is time to follow what that is, and also maybe express things that are on your mind. Okay, so let's see, what else do we get? Let's get one more tarot card, and then we're going to dive into a bunch of other cards for you to get some more information on the month of September. Ace of Wands being reversed. So the Ace of Wands is, when it's upright, it's when we have like a inspiration, we have a lot of energy. And when it's reversed, it can kind of indicate that we are looking and seeking for motivation, or we're seeking for a spark. But I do honestly feel, even though that this one came up reversed, I really feel like you are going to be finding a spark. But maybe you've been repressing the spark, or maybe you've even been working on something more behind the scenes and thinking about a certain passion, thinking about a certain thing, but maybe you haven't been vocal about it. That could also be why this is reversed. And maybe we need to be vocal about what it is that we really feel, because there's a burning sensation. Like, this reminds me of a burning sensation. The Ace of Wands, they're related to fire. And I'm just seeing this as like your inner fire. When it's reversed, it almost feels like maybe we're either repressing that inner fire, or we are afraid of conflict. Therefore, we're not wanting to bring up what we feel that inner fire is. We don't want to be judged. We don't want to fail. We don't want to, all those different fears that we can have. So that could be why this is reversed right now. But it can also indicate that we have been going through a time where maybe we have felt drained, or maybe there's times where we've needed to really focus on recuperating our energy. And if so, the Star card here would indicate like, yes, this is really time to focus on giving to yourself, to awakening, like bringing yourself back into being the star, seeing your own brightness, seeing your own light, seeing your own worthiness, your own shine, all of that. Really stepping more into being the star, being okay being in the spotlight. Like, look at her. She's like putting the spotlight on herself. She's like, you know what? I am worthy of this. You know what? I am worthy of wanting my desires, speaking my desires. I shouldn't have to repress those things, like, let's live, right? We're here to live a life. This is your life to live. So let's dive into some more cards here to get some more information on this reading for you. So I'm really feeling actually like diving into these ones. That one came out right away. We have Clean It Up. So what's quite interesting too is the star speaks about minimalism. Clean It Up talks about organizing, getting rid of old stuff, feeling like, also, this could be an internal cleanup. It could also be an external cleanup, right? So maybe we're called to clean up our external environment, which we know what that looks like. It's like cleaning and organizing our space, our, all that. But there could also be internal cleanups that we might be called to do, such as like, you know what? I don't want to have this habit anymore. Or I don't want to, put myself into this situation anymore. I don't want to be thinking these negative thoughts, or I want to, there could be like a habit that you are thinking about cleaning up, clearing out. Maybe it just doesn't make you feel your best. Things that make you feel drained or uninspired, or things that tend to put your energy down. Maybe we're coming to an awareness that we don't want to be feeling that way anymore. Also, it is getting so bright in here. Let me turn down the exposure so that you can start to see again. Sorry about that. Diving into some more cards here. Your month of September, my group ones. The one energy, because it's interesting that you chose group one. The one energy, it's very much about putting yourself first. It's also about being number one, being in the spotlight. It's a new chapter, new beginning kind of energy. So perhaps you're stepping more into that lately. And let's see, what else do we have? We also have the Explorer. So definitely there could be some travel stuff coming through for you in the month of September. The explorer could also be exploring more of our internal self, our internal desires. The warrior, stepping more into warrior energy this month. Stepping more into this energy of courage. Having the courage to go for what you really want. Maybe stepping outside of your comfort zone. Ooh, the warrior and the explorer, stepping outside of your regular comfort zone, stepping outside of the familiar. Maybe you're really called to do something different than you've done before. Maybe you've been really called to push the boundaries of your old self. Okay? Yeah, you've been really called to push the boundaries of your old self, to really step into something new, to have courage to like overcome old blocks, old inhibitions, old things that just held you back. Wow, okay. What else do we have for the month of September? Let's see. We also have the love maker coming through. So one thing that I'm seeing is like putting more love back into yourself is one thing. I do also feel like if this is a romantic partnership that is significant in your life, I'm really seeing this, bringing out a lot more passion, a lot more excitement for you, bringing out a deeper connection where there's more passion. If this is in regards to business and career for you, then I'm really seeing this love maker of you pouring your heart into something, you being like, I really want to bring this vision to life and I want to pour my heart and soul into it. I'm also seeing you just being more like open, more laughy, more abundant and things like that, especially as you kind of step outside of your comfort zone and have this feeling of like, let me clear away these old inhibitions that made me feel small or made me feel like I couldn't do something. Like, let me just clear that away. Like, this is a month totally of clearing that away. Let's see. We also have poet. So some of you may be into something artistic. As well with the poet, this talks about communication and opening up the throat chakra. So there's something more to like plan or speak about within this month. Planning and speaking, writing things down. This could even be, like planning things within your schedule to accommodate like a new project, to accommodate a new venture, to accommodate something new that's opening up here, which could even be the travel, things like this. But it's very much using the throat chakra. So communicating, writing, planning, figuring out. A lot of like this is a very like mental, communicative month for you, all about expression, communication, planning, and figuring out the logistics behind what's important to you, especially again in regards, there's a very significant person in your life this month that there's a lot of focus on. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into our last few cards for your month. I'm also wanting to pull out some important dates for you. Okay, so let me quickly channel some important dates. I'm really seeing you doing a big clearing around the 20th of September. So around the middle end of September, I see you doing this like total clearing, clean out of yourself, maybe like really prepping for something. There's almost like a prepping energy around middle end of September. Another thing that I'm hearing for you in regards to special dates is around the 7th of September is like an energy of motivation coming through. An energy of motivation, of planning, speaking, expressing yourself. So that's coming through. Ooh, and then so our last few cards here, we have, what would your higher self say to you? What would your higher self say to you? So in regards to everything that you are dealing with in your life right now, in regards to your path, what you're choosing to do every day, how you choose to wake up, what would your higher self say to you? By the way, you always have access to your higher self. We can always tap into our higher self. So if you close your eyes and you just think of like, oh, my higher self or my spirit guides or even God or the universe, what would they say to me right now? What would they want me to know? And you can always ask yourself that when you're facing something in your life. You always have access to your higher self. Your inner human and your inner soul, you are always in connection to your higher and lower self. Your lower self is the human self. Your higher self is the more spiritual, all-knowing, all-connected self. So anyway, the universe will never let you fail. Oh my gosh, take that in, okay? The universe will never let you fail. So when it comes to like any inhibitions that have been holding you back in regards to a new project, new venture, stepping outside of your comfort zone, remember that the universe will never let you fail. Even things that seem like a failure are a stepping stone for what is truly meant for you. It's a stepping stone of learning. It is a stepping stone of improvement. And I know some people, like, sometimes when I say like, oh, lessons and learning in my readings, there's some people that get triggered by that. And I just want to say, like, life is always full of lessons and learning, but it's also always full of juicy moments. But the way that we get to our juicy moments is by integrating what we learn, all about self-growth, things like that. Like, that is the beauty of life, is growth. Imagine that you buy a plant and it never sprouted a new leaf. In order to sprout that new leaf, it has to work hard. It has to grow. And a metaphor for growth as a human is that we have to learn through it, right? And that's what helps us sprout new leaves. That's what helps us like bloom. We would not bloom otherwise. And so it's a beautiful thing. Oh, we should embrace the learning and all of that. So anyway, I am a unique soul that has so much to offer this world. I am a unique soul that has so much to offer this world. What a beautiful affirmation coming through for you. My goodness, my group ones, okay? Then we have, I allow my inner child to come out and play. I allow my inner child to come out and play. So instead of taking life too seriously, this is also a month where it is going to be beautiful to just let your inner child come out and play. Like, look at the love maker. She's just pouring her heart into it. She's not overthinking it. She's not letting her inhibitions hold her back. She doesn't care about the judgment of anybody else. She's kind of just like, let me be me and let me just like let my passion out. Let me overcome whatever inhibitions have been holding me back in regards to my passion. Because if you have been feeling a lack of energy, or if you've been feeling like demotivation or frustration, because even Ace of Wands being reversed can sometimes be we're running into frustrations, we're running into problems or things like that. And the reason why we might be running into those is maybe because we actually have a block of overthinking, or even fear of judgment, fear of failure, things like that. And maybe we're trying too hard for perfection. Whereas in this card, in the Love Maker card, does she look like she is needing things to be perfect? Does she look like she is like overthinking the process or trying so hard to avoid failure, et cetera, et cetera? No, she's just like, let me have fun with this. Let me have fun with this. Let me pour my authenticity, my heart out into it, whichever way it comes out. Because no human is perfect. No human is ever gonna make something that's like perfect. We might think on the outside like, oh, this other person's like perfect, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, no, nobody is perfect. And there's other people that are gonna look at you and look at what you do and how you express things that probably look at you and think, wow, they're perfect, right? People look at you the same way. Allow your inner child to come out and play. Then, what are you grateful for today? This is a powerful question to ask yourself every day. It puts you into a state of gratitude, which is also a state of receiving, and the universe gives you more to be grateful for. So what are you grateful for today? You can answer that right now. Maybe even pick a few things that you are grateful for today, because there's always multiple things. If you are willing to find it, it is there. So that is your reading for the month of September, my beautiful group number ones. It looks like there's a lot of things happening. There's a very significant person. There's a lot more going on with planning things with them, solidifying more things, putting roots down, really committing yourself to something for the future, planning for a lot for the future here. And it looks like you're just really stepping outside of your comfort zone, stepping into a lot of courage, cleaning up anything that like needs to be cleaned up, and yeah, tapping into more creativity and things like that. So I'm very excited to see what happens for you through this next month. It looks like there's some big stuff that's just being sorted out in such a beautiful way that is guiding you to something even bigger. 5 months from now is going to be significant. So very excited. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And until next time, bye. All right, my group twos, if you chose this pile, this is going to be your September prediction. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. All right, so to start us off, we're of course going to go into our Astro Dice, and let's see what you can expect through the month of September. We have Saturn in Scorpio in the second house. Wow, okay, so Saturn is the planet of dedication, commitments, responsibility. It is also the planet of being very productive and getting things in a very structured way. So it's all about structure. It's also about boundaries. Being in the sign of Scorpio, Scorpio is all about transformations and metamorphosis. The second house is about your finances. It's the house of your material belongings, the things that you own. So one message that I'm getting for you right off the bat is that you are putting more structure and boundaries when it comes to what you purchase, what you buy. So that could be one thing that you are looking at here. Also in regards to your finances, maybe you're also creating more structure and boundaries and more sense of like committing to a plan when it comes to your finances. Maybe there's something that you are planning for financially. And this would be creating a transformation in that area of your life so that you can feel more stable, more secure. Definitely like Saturn brings more security, and it brings us more security through structure. It brings us more security through creating a solid, committed plan to those areas of your life. It's also where we want to grow and up level, because Saturn is like, it wants to grow and up level. Saturn does so in a very like committed, like here's the plan of action, here's the structure of how we're going to make this happen. It's very dedicated. And so for you, I'm really seeing like a lot of dedication around something material for you. And with that Scorpio energy, there's a definite like transformation that you are making in that area of your life. So I wouldn't be surprised if you've been focused on something big that you either want to purchase in your life that you're like, hey, I need to like dedicate to making that happen, or if there is something here where you're wanting to add more structure financially to your life, and also materially. So again, this could be something material or something financial, or again, could involve both of the above in regards to your month of September. So there is something big here that you are working towards. One thing also about the second house is it can sometimes touch on diet. So Saturn also being committed, Scorpio transformation, maybe you're also thinking about transforming your diet. Then we also have the Hierophant. There is a lot that you are learning. Ooh, I would not be surprised if the month of September you are really called to do research, to gain insight from other people who have achieved what you want to achieve. There is new information coming through that it's going to help you with a goal that you're wanting to achieve financially or materially. There is information coming through to help you with that. This could also be like a divine thing that happens where you stumble upon the right book, or you stumble upon the right teacher, you stumble upon the right video online, you stumble upon the right course, and things like that. But there's something here that you are building, working towards, and the Hierophant is like the divine teacher coming through. It can also talk about school. So if some of you are in school right now, or doing any higher education or higher learning, I'm seeing you being able to really implement that knowledge in the month of September, and it being something where it's like, oh, this is gold. Like, look at her. She's like holding this thing. She's like, this is really good. Or it's like creating more inspiration. It's creating more potential that you see in your future because of what you're implementing and all of that. So that's going really well. If any of you are studying for something right now, like studying for an exam or studying for something that you want to achieve, Saturn is this planet of commitment. And so I'm really seeing you being very committed to a goal or outcome that you want to achieve here in regards to education or learning or implementing some sort of knowledge here for your future. For those of you that are already in your career or things like that in your life and you're not in school anymore, then something that I'm seeing is like a lot of dedication and commitment to up-leveling that area of your life. So maybe you're into self-improvement, maybe you're into like things financially this month, all of that. We do also have the Page of Cups. It is reversed in this reading. So there is something here too. So the Page of Cups, the cups talk about our emotions and our emotional fulfillment. The page is sort of like a new sprout or a new idea. And maybe we're just feeling like we need a little bit more oomph. We need a little bit more emotional connection to something to really like make it take off. Page of Cups reverse can also talk about when we have a little bit of doubt about something, or we have a little bit of fear, or perhaps we are working so hard that we haven't been paying attention to filling our cup. This would be a month where it's like, we do want fulfillment. Of course we want fulfillment, and we also need balance. Perhaps there's also an idea where you are seeking more confirmation, more validation that that idea is good enough. And perhaps that's something that you're seeking out this month. And Page of Cups being reversed is like, oh, we're looking for that. We're seeking it. So let's see how this turns out for you. We also have perspective. This is the Hangman. Something that you felt stuck on. Ooh, this could be an idea that you have felt stuck on, or you have felt that you are stuck in the perpetual planning stage of it, or you are stuck in the perpetual learning phase and feeling like you can't get outside of the learning phase because maybe you just feel like, I'm not ready yet. Ugh. Page of Cups being reversed, it's this energy of like, either I'm not ready yet, I don't know enough yet, I'm not confident enough yet, I need more confirmation, more validation, I need to know more, before you feel like you can get started. This month of September, I'm really feeling like you are trying to push the boundary and really push yourself to get started on something, to really push yourself to take action. I'm seeing like this energy of wanting to break free, to get things moving forward, to get things flowing. This is all going to require a shift in your perspective. And one little message that I'm hearing coming through for you is there's never a moment where you're going to feel ready. And let me speak personally about this because when I started reading tarot, tarot when I was 12 years old. And me and my mom would read it all the time together. We were obsessed. We would read books on it. We would do all the things. And so I've been doing tarot now for 18 years. But get this, when I was like in my early 20s, I had so much doubt. I had already been doing tarot almost 10 years at this point. And trust me when I say, like, I wasn't just doing tarot as a hobby. I was like doing it every day. I loved tarot so much. But I didn't even feel ready to start doing readings yet after reading for that long. And I knew tarot so well, but yet I still didn't feel ready, right? So I can speak right now about this, that there's never going to be a moment where you feel ready for something. Sometimes you just have to get started and then realize like, oh, I can navigate this. But the reason why I didn't feel ready is because like, oh, I've never given a professional reading before. I've never charged for my services before. I've never filmed a YouTube video on tarot before. And so it just felt like I wasn't ready. But the thing is I was never going to be ready for those things. I was never going to have the experience to feel ready until I actually just did those things and gained the experience, which eventually makes you feel ready for the thing. But no matter how, like, I could have been just doing tarot personally for myself and for friends and family for 20 years, and I probably still wouldn't have felt ready unless I took the leap of faith to step outside of my comfort zone and do the things that scared me most. And then realize like, oh, I am ready for this. But it's like, sometimes when we haven't done something before, we just feel not ready for it. Even though we actually are. So there is something here where perhaps you feel like, oh, I'm not ready yet, I'm not ready yet. And I really just hear the universe and also your spirit guide saying like, but you are. You are. Like, look at what you've been doing. Look at the learning you've been implementing. Look at this, the time that you've been putting towards this. We also have 5 of Swords being reversed. This card can indicate when we feel like we just feel either, okay, this one's actually quite interesting coming up, because most of the time this card will indicate like feeling selfish, actually, or feeling like somebody has taken advantage of us. So when it's reversed, this could have a few multiple different meanings. So it could relate to the stuff that we've been talking about and feeling like this imposter syndrome, or feeling like I'm not good enough to do that. Is it selfish for me to just go after what I want? It could be those types of feelings that we're dealing with, but it can sometimes also talk about in our lives if we are dealing with somebody who we allow them to cross our boundaries. And perhaps that's something that you are feeling like maybe we need to address that rather than putting it off, because the Hangman can also be indicating that perhaps we've been putting off speaking our real mind about how somebody should be treating us. Boundaries, right? Saturn is all about boundaries. And the fact that we also have this card coming through, I almost wonder if there is a situation in your life where you feel like you need to put up stronger boundaries. It can also talk about the vice versa, where we're not respecting boundaries. Okay, so it could talk about that too. You'll know intuitively which side of the spectrum you're on with that. So are we comfortable putting up boundaries? Or do we need to look at and respect boundaries a little bit more? But again, this could also be something internal as well. This could be something not dealing with another person, but it could be dealing with yourself when it comes to keeping yourself stuck in boundaries, because you're like, wait, I don't want people to think this of me. I don't want people to judge me. I don't want people to laugh at me, right? Because the 5 of Swords is sort of when we have negative interactions with other people. Since it's reversed here, this could be a fear that we have where it's like, there's no negative interaction actually happening, but perhaps we are afraid of that happening. Therefore, we're stuck. We're stuck because we're afraid of judgment. We're afraid of backlash. We're afraid of somebody not understanding us. We're afraid of getting hurt. So it could be all of that. Again, there also could be a situation in your life already where we do need to put up those boundaries, because maybe we are feeling taken advantage of. Maybe we are feeling like we're not being heard. And that's just something that I do think in the month of September, it's going to really come up, and it's going to ask you, like, are you ready to take action on this? Or do you just want to keep hanging there and not doing anything about it? Because the Hangman is when we are in stagnation. We're just hanging around and we're not taking action. Where in your life are you just hanging around not taking action? Because this all just deserves a perspective shift. The Hangman talks about a perspective shift. And through a perspective shift, we have the 6 of Wands, where you really come out on top. The 6 of Wands is where people are cheering you on. It's where things are working out really well for you, where you're really proud of yourself. You reach a big accomplishment. If any of you right now are wondering, like, am I going to be successful at the new things that I'm wanting to implement in my life, when it comes to studying for this class, when it comes to implementing this knowledge into my life, when it comes to confronting these issues, when it comes to taking action, am I going to be successful? I think you're going to be honestly so proud of yourself. On the other side of things, 6 of Wands is literally a card of success. It is the card of success, where other people are also looking at us and being like, oh my God, look at them, they did it. Like, it's when other people are proud of us and when we're proud of ourselves. We feel on our high horse about something. So is this coming through putting up boundaries? Is it coming through taking action, getting over the fear of judgment, getting over the fear of criticism? It's leading to success, stepping outside of your comfort zone here. So let's go ahead and dive into some more cards for you and see what else we get. So we're gonna dive into this deck next, and let's see, my group 2s. What else do we get for my group 2s for the month of September? Let's see, we have the dry desert coming through. strength coming through. Ooh, with angel number 44, and then the 3 and the 1 is a 4. Ooh, so the 4 energy is following you around, which is all about stability, building something secure and solid in your life, building something that's going to last in the future. And we also have the card of listening. Okay, I get the feeling like a lot of you are empaths, especially with the elephant and the listening card coming up. I get this feeling like a lot of you who chose this pile, you're kind of like very empathic, very in tune to other people's emotions. And perhaps that's why you get stuck a lot, because maybe it's hard to put up really strong boundaries because we don't want to come across confrontational. We don't want to come across, too aggressive to other people. And so maybe we take a back seat, or perhaps also because of our empathicness, we wait a long time before taking action because we're waiting for the right energy, we're waiting for the right feeling. And the thing is you have to create the feeling though. That's the key. And that's the key that I've learned in my life as somebody who's also an empath. I have had to learn many times in my life, like sometimes I have to be the one that actually creates the right environment, that creates the right feeling for me to move forward. Dry desert, also Page of Cups being reversed, dry desert. There's something here where we've been allowing ourselves to either get drained. I'm also hearing a message for some of you who clearly do not drink enough water. Maybe we got to drink some more water. I'm just saying, dry desert, Page of Cups being reversed. I'm just getting a side message here. If any of you feel like you allow yourself to get dehydrated or you don't drink actual water during your day, this is time to start changing that around, okay? So that's another thing that I'm feeling. I feel like you're gonna feel more vibrant with that. Also, this could just talk about filling your cup emotionally, realizing that you deserve to fill your cup emotionally. Also, if you give too much to other people rather than giving to yourself, that's a huge imbalance, and that could be something that's also coming up this month for you to shift. And it's like, sometimes we also need to give to ourselves, right? Sometimes we also need to create those strong boundaries so that we can feel in our own energy, we can give back to us, things like that. So the month of September is also going to bring in opportunities for that, and strength of like realizing that you have what it takes to make this thing happen. You have what it takes to up-level your area of your life that deals with finances, deals with the material world, deals with making a big purchase in your life. You have what it takes to start creating that foundation. And what I'm seeing is the month of September is you creating that foundation for your future. So let's see, what else do we have for you? We also have the Warrior. This one came up for the last group too. This is really time of like grabbing hold of courage, grabbing hold of strength, grabbing hold of like your inner willpower to get things done. We also have the Seeker. I really think that this is a month too of like improving self-worth. Whenever the Seeker card comes up, a lot of the times it gives me this feeling of self-worth. And also realizing that you need to actually give your own self-worth rather than seeking it externally, rather than seeking validation externally, rather than seeking approval externally. This is about finding it internally, and that's going to give you the feeling of readiness. That's going to give you the feeling of confidence, because confidence is never found through other people. How many times, like I'm sure we've all been in this place in our lives before, where we've tried to seek validation and approval from other people in order to feel more confident. But even if they do give us their approval and their thumbs up and things like that, it oddly didn't fix the lack of confidence that we feel. Have you ever experienced that? And the reason being, or even if it does, like it fixes it maybe for like a little bit, but then eventually that feeling creeps up back onto us. The reason for that is because confidence is something that is created within. And if we do not see our own confidence, it doesn't matter how many times other people see it or tell it to us. If we don't see it, it's completely like invalid. It's not going to fill that void that you feel inside until you fill it, because the only person capable of filling the internal void that you might have is literally you. Nobody else can fill that void for you. So that's a little side message coming through for any of you that are dealing with that. And then with the Seeker card, it's just like, yeah, like We need to, instead of seeking it, we need to seek it within. So let's see, what else do we get for you? We also have the card of medium. So yeah, you're definitely empathic, let me tell you that. And then we also have advocate, boundaries in your life. That's going to be a huge part of the month of September, is setting proper boundaries. This could also be boundaries with yourself, because so many times we talk about boundaries with other people, but another random side message is also creating boundaries with yourself. Like, who do you want to be? What do you want to do? And in what ways have you been holding yourself back from that? Maybe we need boundaries with ourselves in order to uphold that vision that we have. And then medium, the medium energy here as well. You're really connected to like some spirit guides, even some spirit animals. Maybe you've been really connected to like dogs or wolves lately, because that for some reason is so sticking out in this card. Even if not, I feel like you're actually being quite guided by them to step into more of that warrior energy, more of that, like, I'm gonna go make this happen for myself type of energy. I'm gonna go make this happen for myself. I almost feel like you're doing something on your own right now, where maybe you don't know anybody who's doing the same thing as you. Maybe you feel a little bit alone on it. And something else that I'm getting is like you're being very guided on that path to make it happen, even on your own. And there's a lot of like encouraging energy coming through from spirit in regards to that path. So let's see. Any last cards for my group number 2s for the month of September? Let's see. I'm trying to think of any important dates too that are going to come through for September for you. I really feel like just the whole month, this is sort of like the theme that's really flowing through the entire month for you. I do see a little bit more courage to create proper boundaries coming through like mid-September. Mid-September, I'm feeling more of this like confidence to put up really proper, strong boundaries in your life. So we have the card, how are you today? So Spirit wants to ask you, how are you today? Tap into your feelings, honor your feelings. What are you truly feeling right now? And any answer is correct. There's no wrong answer. How are you today? Like, how are you really feeling? Check in with yourself. It can be so powerful to check in with yourself. And then just like a friend, like if your friend was telling you like, hey, I'm not feeling my best today, or I'm feeling a little bit sad, or I'm feeling a little bit uninspired, or I'm feeling super inspired. As a friend, how would you accommodate or react to that? How would you give to that friend? How would you maybe encourage that friend, help that friend, uplift them? Things like that. So it can be so beautiful to also check in with yourself and give yourself what you need, right? Page of Cups being reversed. This is a month of starting to give yourself what it is that you need. So it can be so powerful to check in with yourself. How are you doing? And then, you know, even if you are feeling a little bit down, if you're your own best friend, how would you treat your best friend if they're feeling that way? What would you tell them? What would you do for them, right? So check in with yourself and then ask yourself, what can I do to like be there for myself today? How can I, you know, encourage myself more? How can I, and even if you're feeling great, that's amazing too. How would you approach that situation for your best friend? Like, oh my God, that's amazing. Let me encourage you even more. Okay. We also have the card, are you projecting, coming through? So one question is like, are we projecting past fears onto our future? Maybe that's why we're afraid to take action. Maybe that's why we have this inaction. We're afraid of something reoccurring. We're afraid of something happening again. So remember that. And then let's get any last messages for my group 2s for your month. Okay, we have, what are you grateful for today? You know, when we step into an energy of gratitude, that's literally the energy of receiving. And it helps us heal. Oh my gosh. Gratitude is such a powerful practice. It's such an underrated practice. And wow, like, if you just count what you are grateful for, you would realize that there's actually so many things to be grateful for, like the fact that we can breathe in air right now, the fact that we can, have food around us, the fact that the sun is out and shining and it comes up every single day. Like there's so many things to actually be grateful for. And when we're in the energy of gratitude, we are literally in the energy of receiving. And that's the energy where the universe is going to bring us more to be grateful for, because whatever frequency you are on, you will receive more of that frequency. So when you're in the state of gratitude, you're going to receive more things to be grateful for. You're also going to open your consciousness up to see that there's actually so many things to be grateful for. So that's a beautiful world. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So anyway, the universe is just saying, practice more gratitude, because I really think like, even if you're in an amazing place in your life right now, well, that's great too. Practice more gratitude, because you'll notice that it just uplifts things more. It drives things forward even more. And when we can be grateful for the things that we currently own, even if maybe we're wanting to transform those things and, receive more, whatever the case may be, whatever. Either way, when we're in the state of gratitude, even for what we have, that's still the energy of receiving more. That's how you get into the frequency of receiving more. So anyway, being grateful for what you have, things like that. Also, this card was randomly fallen out of the deck as I put it off to the side, so I felt like pulling it out for you. And it says, I am unstoppable and resilient. It was just like, I had put my deck over here and it just the cards were spilling out, and then that one was just right there. Also, this one was kind of falling out too. So take care of your rarity. Take care of your rarity. You are a rare gem. You are unique. Take care of that uniqueness. That's what makes you stand out. It's what makes you shine. It's what gives you your unique purpose in this lifetime. So take care of your rarity. And that is what we have for you for the month of September. Thank you so much for joining me here for today's video. I am sending you all so much love. And until next time, bye. All right, my group number 3s, if you chose this pile, this is going to reveal all about your month of September. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, my group 3s, to start off your reading, let's go ahead and roll the Astro Dice to see what is currently happening and being attracted into your month of September. So we have Jupiter in Libra in the first house. This is actually a really cool alignment. So Jupiter is the planet of abundance and expansion and good fortune and good luck. And then Libra is the sign which is all about balance, but it's also about beauty and flirtatious energy. It's ruled by the planet Venus. And so it's just very full of beauty, full of love, full of passion, full of all of the good sort of light energies. Libra is a very light kind of sign where it's very airy, very communicative. And then being in the first house, this is the house of the self. This is the house of your identity. This is the house of your physical body as well as the 6th house rules a little bit of that. But the first house is very much about yourself, your identity, who you are. And the fact that we have Jupiter, there is a huge expansion happening with your identity. Being in the zodiac sign of Libra, this is getting into more balance when it comes to yourself. Also, the fact that this sign is all about beauty and just this flirtatious, loving kind of energy. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a month where there's a lot more self-love. You might be called to do some form of glow up, or to even just shift your identity to be one that is more expansive, more in alignment with abundance, more in alignment with good fortune and optimism and positivity, because Jupiter is so optimistic, it's so positive, it's so expansive. And then that Libra energy is also just so full of just balance and just this laughter, flirtatious kind of fun sort of energy. So it looks yourself within the month of September is just blooming. I'm getting this energy of a blooming. I'm also getting this energy of stepping into a version of yourself where you're just more proud of yourself. I just see you looking in the mirror being so much more proud, really proud of any transformation that you've been working on within yourself, or any transformation that you're currently planning with yourself. And I see you just being so proud. of who you're becoming and who you are stepping into. Our tarot cards that we have coming out, ooh, we have 2 major arcana cards. Whenever we have a lot of major arcana cards coming out, it indicates that you're in a very major time of your life, very significant, memorable, big time. Death and Justice. Death is one of my favorite cards to come up because it indicates a metamorphosis and a transformation, and it's sort of like a butterfly going into a cocoon and then blooming with its wings, right? So a caterpillar going into a cocoon and then blooming and blossoming with wings. I really feel like the month of September for you, my group 3s, is a month where you are changing. Perhaps you're even changing something about yourself or how you view yourself, your identity. So this could be things like if you've ever heard about identity shifting, it's actually one of the best manifestation modalities is to start seeing yourself differently. So for example, if you see yourself as somebody who's not capable of your biggest wants, dreams, and desires, well then you're never gonna even take the opportunity or take the chance to pursue those things because it doesn't resonate with your identity. You don't see yourself as somebody who's capable of that. Therefore, of course, why would you even go for it if you don't feel capable, you know? But when we shift ourselves to, for example, step into expansion, step into good fortune, like good things happen to me and I want to step into more expansion within myself. I want to see myself as somebody who's expansive and capable and all these things. When we start seeing ourselves that way, ooh, does that ever tip the scales in our favor? Because now when an idea comes our way or an opportunity comes our way, we are going to take it because we feel worthy of it. We feel resonant with it. We feel like we're capable of it. So there's actually an amazing book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz that talks about this, and it's incredible. The different things that you can unlock. You can even unlock different gifts and talents by shifting your identity and seeing yourself in a different way. There's tons of studies on children and classrooms where a teacher would either tell them that they are stupid or tell them that they are really smart. And depending on what that kid was hearing, it would actually shift their performance during tests and in school, which is crazy. And even a kid who once thought that they were incapable of something, once you start feeding them the idea that you are really capable, you are really strong, you are really resilient, all these things, it will actually reflect in their personality, their performance, their results, everything in their life. And so something interesting that I'm seeing for you is like, there is some sort of like thing where you are stepping into a higher, greater, better version of yourself, seeing yourself more expansive, more positively, and, doing more self-work. And this is going to be really paying off for you. It's also quite interesting. So Libra is the sign of the scales. It's represented by the scales. Justice is the card that is connected to Libra and also deals with the scales. So it's also about bringing balance and bringing justice to old situations. I really think that when it comes to your self-identity, there is work that you are doing on an internal level where you are bringing justice to old parts of yourself where you used to feel small or feel insecure or feel negative about or feel not capable of something. And it's like you're really balancing that out, stepping more into your potential and stepping more into your capabilities in September. I'm also seeing you becoming more confident because another thing that I'm seeing within the Justice card is this feeling of like, I can put my foot down. I can really like say what it is I want because I respect myself and it's like fairness. It's like I deserve to go for what I want. I deserve to feel good. I deserve to expand. And yeah, it's like this really good positive energy that's coming through there. I'm also hearing that if any of you have needed better boundaries in your life, justice also deals with boundaries. It also deals with cutting down to the truth of a matter, feeling like we can step more into our authenticity, feeling like we can speak our mind more, feeling justified for speaking our mind and getting to the truth of a matter. So if there's anything that you feel like you want to step more into your authenticity in order to be a little bit more fearless when it comes to using your voice, when it comes to just being yourself, being who you are, expressing your truth. That's also really coming through this month. And yeah, let's see what else we get here for you. Ooh, that was a bunch of cards that just came out, but I feel like that is a sign. So we're just gonna go right into it. So we have the Five of Swords coming out. This can sometimes indicate that at times either, okay, so this can be an internal or external thing. So we're going to talk about both since it's a general reading. So the external version and expression of the Five of Swords is when we can feel taken advantage of by other people. When we sort of don't have enough boundaries, we maybe have let people walk all over us, we maybe have let people put us down, or we're even just being more sensitive to other people's thoughts and opinions and body language around us, where it kind of makes us feel insecure. So that can be the external expression of the Five of Swords, and it can talk about when we're going and navigating through those energies. The internal expression of the Five of Swords can also be when we are putting ourselves down a lot, when we are being discouraging towards ourselves, and we're like, no, I'm not capable of that. No, I'm not worthy of that. Or it can also be when we're afraid of like other people judging us or other people walking all over us. It can be when we have those internal fears. This is a month where I'm seeing it's time for you to expand outside of that. Justice. The fact that we do also have justice coming up though with the Five of Swords, I would not be surprised if there is a relationship in your life where you really need to put your foot down about expressing your authenticity, expressing your truth, expressing how you really feel. Because maybe someone is stepping on our toes a little bit, and this is coming from a place of us not putting up the boundaries, right? Because if we don't put up boundaries, and if somebody doesn't realize that they're stepping on our toes, how are they ever going to change? How are they ever going to fix that if they're not aware of it? So sometimes we need to like really express ourselves. And this is your month of stepping into like, hey, I am worthy of expressing myself. I am capable of this, and it's going to bring you to a much better place in life. So I really do feel like there's probably a physical person in your life that maybe we need to confront this month with boundaries. And we need to also step into more of our authority with justice and balance all of that, okay? Judgment is also coming up, being reversed. So this is helping you clear judgment. It's helping you clear old fears. It's also helping you step into your authenticity, because judgment also, when it comes up reversed, can indicate that we've been scared to step up into our authenticity because we're scared of the consequences. We're scared of the conflicts that might arise. We're scared of the criticism that might arise from that. But this is a month where it's like stepping into justice. Like, justice is a positive card, right? And we don't want to stay in the Five of Swords energy. So the way to combat that, the way to fix that, the way to justify that is through justice, bringing justice to the situation, communicating about it, putting your foot down, putting down boundaries. Page of Pentacles is here also being reversed. This is really calling you to take more action in the real world action, and not delaying it. Page of Pentacles, when Page of Pentacles is reversed, can delay things and say like, oh, I'll deal with that some other time, or like maybe it'll fix itself. Page of Pentacles being reversed is like, maybe the problem will fix itself, but the problem does not fix itself. We need to take action to fix the problem. Page of Pentacles also reversed can be when we procrastinate on something and we kind of say like, oh, we can wait for tomorrow, we can wait for a better day, we can wait till we feel more ready, we can wait until we have more pieces to the puzzle. But the thing is, we could infinitely wait, but how long do we want to stay in this situation? I really think like the month of September for you is really about navigating it, figuring it out, and I absolutely see you doing that. But Spirit's just coming through with some advice here with these other cards, talking about maybe what we've been dealing with and going through, and the different aspects of what that has led up to. So anyway, yeah, we also have the star coming out. This is interesting because I think in the last group we also had this Five of Swords come out. So it's interesting, it's making an appearance in 2 different readings today. But then on top of all that, you also have tons of other like major arcana cards. We have the Moon and the Star coming out, and we also have the Ace of Cups here. So this is quite wildly interesting, actually. So the Star is a rebirth. It's also us stepping into our light to be able to shine. But the Star, it's not like shining, like flaunting kind of like the sun. The Star is kind of just like, I'm in my own brightness. I see my own brightness, but it's not necessarily like showing it off. But I really feel like for you, you're stepping so much more into your brightness in September. Ace of Cups as well. This is a month of focusing on filling your cup. The Moon being reversed is overcoming old fears that were once holding you back to step into more fulfillment. Oh, I also see you perhaps taking a step to go towards something, to listen to an inner calling that you have. This Star card is making me feel like there's definitely like an inner calling. And there's also a message from Spirit that you are being divinely navigated through something where maybe you don't see how it can come together, or maybe you're walking into something and you feel kind of like blind to what you're walking into. You feel kind of just like, I don't know what the outcome's gonna be. I don't know how to navigate this. The Star talks about navigation, but it talks about listening to your intuition and trusting and knowing that you're being divinely guided in order to navigate something in your life, right? And yeah, I really feel like through this, there's going to be a lot of positive outcomes of you focusing on your fulfillment, feeling so much more fulfilled, overcoming the things that have been stressing you out, overcoming the fears that have been holding you back. This is totally a month of like overcoming just like old inhibitions, old things that have been sort of like standing in the way of where you want to go. And you're definitely being divinely guided and navigated towards some new energies here and stepping more into your brightness, your radiance. Ooh, the Star card, that's the word that I'm looking for. Radiance. You're stepping more into your radiance this month. So let's see what else we get for you. My group 3s for the month of September. The month of September for my group 3s. Let's see. Well, those cards wanted to come out. We have Thinker. I do think that a lot of you, you're really deep thinkers. Also, angel number 44 coming through is a number which deals with our foundation. So feeling more safe, feeling more secure, feeling more like you have a solid foundation. It also talks about boundaries as well. So if there's anything that you tend to overthink, I also feel like this is a month of addressing those overthought thoughts so that you no longer need to overthink it. We also do have regeneration. This is like birthing anew. And it's also, okay, look at the lava here and then look at the bright green and the flourishing like new growth that's coming. So something where you have been dealing with where it's like, this is also talking about the death card, by the way, because regeneration, this is kind of like when the lava comes and let's say it's like scorched the whole land. Through that, there's actually more nitrogen in the soil, which makes plants grow more green and also so there's some plants that actually need fire. There's a certain tree, I forgot which tree it is, but it needs fire in order to hatch the seed of that tree. I think it's like a type of acorn type of seed or something that only hatches and becomes fertile and is able to grow new growth after a fire, which is so interesting. So I'm getting this message for you, like you're going through a rebirth right now because of something that you are facing, and maybe it's something that you've been like putting off because you know it's going to cause a transformation. You know it's going to, create something new, something different. This is a month of regeneration. There's new growth. You are re-blossoming through your transformation and through your breakdown of your old self, overcoming old limitations, overcoming old beliefs, facing fears, overcoming those, even shedding old parts of yourself and being like, you know what, maybe I want some shifts and changes. Regeneration, you're regenerating so much better and into this new version of yourself that is like, oh, it's like blossoming anew. You are blossoming anew. I can't wait for you for the month of September because I'm really excited to hear about what this like new you is like, especially because like this card along with the death card, like both of those are like the same message about this massive transformation that you are stepping into. And I feel like you're going to be so much more proud and so much more inspired by this new version of yourself. And one question that I have for you, one question that your guides want to ask you right now, how could you become the person you are most inspired by? Okay, I'm going to say that one more time. How can you become the person who you are most inspired by? How can you step into that version of you? Because that version of you exists. And I just feel like this is like your key to the new energies that are awakening for you. So, and the new direction that you're being called into. Let's see what else we get. We also have the Weaver. Ooh, okay, so yeah, I mean, you're working on something completely new, Weaver. Maybe some of you also work with your hands or are in the creation of something, like literally in the creation of something, and perhaps that's gonna be a big project for you in September. Weaver can also be when we're weaving together an idea. We're in the process of manifesting something, but it can really also indicate that we're working on a physical, tangible thing. We're working on a project. And I feel like that's going to be a big focus for September, is this thing that you're working on. And perhaps there's a renewal with it. There's like a regeneration or a reinvigoration for this thing that you're working on, a reinvigoration, a renewal, a spark. Perhaps you're doing some deep thinking on something that maybe you put off for a little while because maybe there was like some writer's block, but then you're coming back to it with this like new inspiration. That can definitely be like Ace of Cups and the Star as well. Like you're being divinely guided with this project and this vision that you have. There's definitely a project that you are working on. This project could even be on a self level, but I really feel like there's like another, I don't know, there's like another project thing that you're working on, I'm really feeling. Okay, we also have the card of compassion. So I feel like there's going to be so much more like patience with yourself, so much more love with yourself. And one thing that I posted this on Instagram today and it was so beautiful. Somebody asked like how to manifest more beauty. And I gave this example that there's this water experiment done by Dr. Joe Dispenza, or not Dr. Joe, Dr. Emoto did this water experiment. He also did this rice experiment to see if water would change its molecular structure based on words that you say to it or emotions that you send to it. And it does, okay? So this is a really cool experiment. He also did this experiment with cooked rice, since it's like it's cooked with water and he wanted to see like the effects. And you can also do the cooked rice experiment at home. Just Google it, it's really cool. And you can see how words and emotions affect things. We're made up of mostly water. And so the things that we constantly think, or the things that we say to ourselves, or the emotions that we're feeling towards ourselves have a huge impact on us. And I'm really seeing that you're going through like a big transformation. And so since water literally reflects the same words and the same emotions that we send to it, if you're sending yourself negative words, negative emotions, negative thoughts, that's affecting your internal level. So if you want to rebloom, reblossom, look at how you speak to yourself, look at the emotions that you feel towards yourself, and have compassion. Because when you do that, oh my gosh, new things can blossom. That's how you evoke new inner beauty, but also it will shift more of the external as well. If you give yourself love, compassion, nurture, if you give yourself the energy of radiance, if you give yourself the energy of like passion and love, that's going to reflect and make changes internally, which will eventually, with consistency over time, reflect externally as well. So That's just a little thing. I don't know why I went on that tangent. That just, I don't know, the compassion card coming up here literally reminded me of that. And for some reason I wanted to say that. And yeah, hopefully that's, I don't know, helpful for some of you, or yeah, anyway, diving into some more cards here. So we also have the messenger card, proclaim. So guide, announce, counsel, messenger. There's a message that you have to bring, something that you have to say in September. In September. So what are you announcing? What are you, there's a message that you have to bring. It's going to be an important message. Maybe you don't even know what that is yet, but you will see what it is. I'm also hearing on top of that, that there is a message coming through for you in September. This could be, you might hear it through another person, or it just could be like a dream that you end up having. It's going to be significant. You will know it when you hear it, but there is going to be a big message coming through. This could also be a significant message from somebody that maybe you haven't heard from in a little while. And yeah, this message is going to be like really significant for you. Also, the fact that we have renew, detox, purify, cleanse, it's just like our regeneration card. Spirit is here. This is a regeneration month for you. Old insecurities are being shed. It's you blossoming. There's going to be some really important conversations that happen, really important messages that come through, even a message that you are going to get inspired to share. So those are the energies here. Lots of renewal, lots of re-inspiration, reinvigoration, weaving something, putting your love and effort into something. So to end us off, we have leave it better than you found it. Whatever you see, whatever you do, wherever you go, leave it better than you found it. It's a beautiful motto to live by. Let's see. My group threes. We also have not choosing is still choosing. That is so true. Even when you don't make a choice, like let's say you're stuck between like, do I do this or do I not do this? Not choosing is still choosing. You've still chosen something. And are you happy with that choice? Okay, if it's coming up, let it go. If it's coming up, let it go. So if there's something that your mind or your soul keeps nagging you about, and it's like, hey, this is coming up again. This is coming up again. This is time for us to express it, to allow it to flow out rather than repressing it again. Because the longer that we keep repressing something, and if it keeps nudging us, we have to allow it to be expressed. We have to allow its release, right? So if there's something that your mind keeps saying like, I need to say this, I need to tell this person this, I need to say this, I need to say this. If it keeps coming up, we have to allow ourselves to let it out, to express it. Okay? So that is the last message to end us off with. I actually do feel like pulling out one more, like Spirit's like encouraging message for you for September. So let's try to get one more actually. So, how are you being the best version of yourself? What is the best version of yourself and what do they do? And how are you being the best version of yourself? The one who you are most inspired by. So that is our message to end us off here. Thank you so much for joining me here for today's video, my beautiful group number threes. I am sending you so much love, and until next time, bye. All right, my group fours, if you chose this pile, this is going to be your reading for September, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. All right, so beginning here with our Astro Dice, let's see your month of September. So we have the moon in Leo in the fourth house. The fourth house deals with our home life, our foundation, our family. It can also deal with just anyone that we live with in general, and it can also talk about our sense of security, so our foundational sense of security, such as our money and our finances, anything that brings you a sense of foundation, security, and roots. Your roots are your fourth house. The moon is about your emotions, and Leo is about expressing and highlighting those emotions. So one thing about the month of September is there's something emotionally here where we're wanting to express, maybe we're also wanting to feel more comforts in our foundation, in our home. And all of this would be talking about creating more of an environment that we feel more comfortable in, we feel more at home in. So could be something that you're working on within the home in order to feel more emotionally like just comfortable. Or again, there also could be something that's been on your mind emotionally that maybe wants to be seen. You know, the Leo energy. Leo is all about expression and shining and spotlighting something. So there's definitely like an emotion that you are spotlighting in your home life in September. So what emotion is that? What are we spotlighting? What are we wanting to create in our home life? What are we wanting to manifest in our home life? What kind of environment do we want to live in? So those are all the questions that come up with Moon in Leo in the 4th house. Let's see what else we get for you for your month of September. So we have the 6 of Swords coming through. This is when we're moving to a more peaceful, more stable place. Ooh, huge message for your month of September. There's more emotional stability, mental stability, and physical, financial stability through the month of September for you. There is so much more stability. So if anything has felt rocky in those areas for you in the past little while, where we either felt rocky financially or emotionally, all things within our foundation, or our home life has even felt rocky, this is something that is stabilizing and becoming a lot more safe and secure in September. So that's amazing news. I'm also seeing, okay, so 6 of Swords can sometimes indicate a transition. So there could also be something where there's a transition of some kind in our home life in September. So this could indicate for some of you, perhaps you're planning a move, maybe you're thinking about moving, maybe there is just some shifts happening with your home life or shifts happening within your foundation. But these are really positive shifts, because the 6 of Swords is when we're moving to clearer, better, more stable times where things feel more secure, things feel more easy, they're more in flow. We also just feel more comfortable there. So it's like you're moving towards more comfort, moving towards more stability within those aspects of life. And let's see, what else do we get for your month of September? For some reason, I'm also hearing that the number 6 is going to actually be really significant through the month for you. So 6 days from now when you're watching this, I feel like there's something significant happening. Also 6 weeks from now, which I know will probably lead us outside of the realm of September. But 6 weeks from now, there's also like more stability and more ease coming through. We also have Ace of Wands being reversed, and then we have the Page of Cups being reversed. That is so interesting. These 2 cards, but of course from different decks, came out for some other groups, which is really interesting. I feel like a lot of us collectively are going through some similar stuff right now. But Ace of Wands being reversed is when we either have felt like a lack of energy, a lack of inspiration, a lack of a spark in our lives. So it can indicate that sort of energy, but it can also indicate, so Ace of Wands is when we have a spark, but when it's reversed, it can also indicate that this spark is, we're kind of being quiet about it right now. Like there's might be something that's inspiring you, but maybe we're kind of just like, let me plan that a little bit more. Let me develop that a little bit more before I talk about it or before I take action on it. Because Ace of Wands is very much like an action-oriented thing. So there could be something that you're thinking about, but you're not quite taking action on it yet. Maybe it's something that you're planning. Maybe it's something that you're working on behind the scenes a little bit. It could be like a new inspiration that we are, like working on more behind the scenes. Because maybe it's just not ready yet to be like talked about yet externally. So it could be that. Page of Cups being reversed. This one can be when we feel like we really are wanting to focus more on filling our cup. We are wanting to focus more on emotional fulfillment. It can also be when something has been on our minds emotionally, but we've been holding it back. We haven't been taking action. So the month of September is really calling you to look at what you've been holding inside emotionally And this is a month that's really calling you to open up. Because the only way to get to those stable, clear times is to open up. The only way to make a transition, the only way to make a change, the only way to feel emotionally satisfied and emotionally heard and emotionally stable is to, of course, express what's been on your mind emotionally. So that is coming through big time right now. Also, this card was just like left behind, so I feel like it's significant. And we have Queen of Swords being reversed. And let's see, let's get one more card here for you. And then we'll get into our oracle cards as well and talk about these energies. Oh, okay, we have 3 more cards. Let's go with it. So there's a lot of energy here. 8 of Swords being reversed. I love that that one came up in the reverse position for you. Then we also have this has come up for 3 groups already. 5 of Swords has come up for 3 groups. That's just blowing my mind. A lot of people are going through similar things collectively. That is just wild to me. But yeah, so Page of Swords being reversed, Queen of Wands being reversed, 8 of Swords being reversed is communication, opening up. There's something where we are opening up. There's more communication coming through. We are also stepping out of old boundaries and old restrictions that have kept us stuck before. Something has really been on your mind. The 3 of Swords and also 5 of Swords, there's something that's really been on your mind. I'm also kind of feeling like if some of you have felt misunderstood, or if some of you have felt kind of like somebody's been stepping on your toes, pushing your buttons, pushing your boundaries, even if you have been afraid of like opening up because maybe you are afraid of disappointing somebody else, maybe you are afraid of stepping on somebody else's toes, maybe you're afraid of disappointment of somebody else or of yourself. There's something here where maybe we've been holding back because of a fear of like disappointment, or a fear of rejection even, a fear of conflict, confrontation. So we've been almost holding back. But there is something that I'm really feeling like deeply needs to get expressed. Also, I accidentally tapped this astro dice and rolled it over, but I feel like that's also significant. So the fact that we have the 8th house also coming up for you here, the 4th house and the 8th house now. The 8th house is about shared assets. So things that we share with other people, situations where other people are involved. So that's really coming up, and that is coming up to transform, because the 8th house is the house of transformation. But the 8th house is also the house of getting to the depths of something in order to understand it, to bring it to light, in order to heal it, in order to fix it. And that's a theme that's been coming up in almost every group. I feel like a lot of us are going through this energy. Almost every group has had that message come up at least once. Every group has been different because there's like so many different things and so many different aspects that we get into. However, that has been an interesting theme that is showing up. So it definitely seems like that's going to be one thing that you are facing in order to heal it, in order to bring it to light, to transform it so that you can get back into more emotional satisfaction, emotional fulfillment, emotional ease. So yeah, let's go ahead and see what else we get for you for the month of September. This is really wild. We have so many synchronicities happening. We have the Warrior coming up. The Warrior is about stepping into your power, stepping into your courage, stepping into your confidence. So that's a huge thing that is also coming through here as well for your month. Let's see what else we get for you. I am oddly feeling like that card wants to come out. We have Ask Body. So another thing, your intuition is really speaking to you, and I feel like there's been something that's almost roaring inside of you, like, hey, I need to express this, or I need to take action on this. I need to do this thing. Your body has been really like urging you, nudging you into a particular direction. Maybe it's even your emotions that you've been feeling within your body. Your emotions are really wanting to bubble up to the surface to really like And your body has the answer too. So when you tap in, like you're like, okay, what do I really need right now? Why are these emotions coming up? Why are these thoughts keep coming up? You can ask your body that and like really like listen, like what is my body craving right now? What do I really need? Maybe your body has also really been trying to speak to you lately. So if you have felt any ailments or pains coming up or other things that have been bothering you, this is really a time to tap in and listen to your body, maybe giving yourself a bit of a break, right? Maybe you're giving yourself time to rejuvenate. Maybe if your body's craving more movement, maybe it's honoring that. But your body's definitely been asking for something lately. Your body's been letting you know through its own communication, through its own signs and signals, that perhaps there's been something that we need to nurture, something that we need to focus on, something that we need to take action on here for our body. And taking action could also be rest and recuperation, by the way. I just want to point that out. Depending on, again, it is a general reading. So for some of you, it could be rest and rejuvenation. For others, it could be like, let's get moving. Let's get taking action, things like that. So really tune into your body, because I really do feel like for those of you that chose this group, your body's been really speaking to you lately. So yeah, that's going to be really significant and important. Let's see what else we get here. We also have no place like home. Wow. Home stuff is really significant. My pile 4s, it's also interesting, your pile 4. And it's like, the message is all about home life, which is all about the 4th house in astrology, all this like kind of 4 energy. No place like home. What makes you feel most at home? What makes you feel safe? What makes you feel comfortable? What makes you feel, where do you want to root yourself? What do you want to root yourself to? That's a big question coming up. Where do you want to root yourself? Okay, let's see. What else do we get for you? Ooh, that card wants to come out. Happy, happy. Okay, so unlocking more happiness. What is going to be the key to your happiness? Unlocking. Some of you are definitely moving. I'm getting this feeling of moving because the fact that we have the key and then no place like home. Some of you, there's like a happiness about like moving or planning to move, or even doing some sort of maybe even renovation, or getting the key to unlock your happiness of where you want to root yourself, really figuring those things out. So there's something here that is all about figuring out your home life. Let's see, what other cards do we have for you? My group 4s. My group 4s, your month of September. Let's see. Okay, a couple cards fell out here. So we have the shapeshifter. You are definitely, I feel like this is an aspect of your life that's shape-shifting. It's like shaking things up. Then we also have divine, calibrate, connect, stabilize, personify. So yeah, things in your life are really stabilizing, especially if you have felt like there's been this unstable, unpredictable energy that keeps coming up into your life lately. More stability is definitely coming in. So the month of September is definitely going to bring that beautiful, stabilized energy, and things are going to kind of really shift for you in a very positive way. So shaking things up, well, actually, it's going to bring stability. So if you're used to things being like shaken and stirred and, all over the place, unpredictable, we're definitely moving into a more stable time. There's going to be divine things that end up happening that really help stabilize your life, your world. There's definitely big conversations that are going to be coming up that are going to be really important, and positive things, positive shifts with home, really positive shifts with roots. The things that you own as well is sort of like our 4th house energy. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into our last few cards for you, and let's see what comes up. So there's actually a couple cards that just turned over. Oh, and then there's another card that just fell out on my lap while I was putting those away. So let's see your cards for September, your little messages from Spirit. Do not worry about where you have been or where you are going. Yeah, let's not feed it with worry. Don't worry about where you have been, because that's in the past, right? All of those things are already in the past, and they don't have to affect your future unless you let them. And then also don't worry about where you are going. When we worry about it, we end up creating resistance. We end up holding ourselves back. So where do you want to go? Where do you want things to lead to? Let's focus on that. But when we worry about it, we put unnecessary stress, because when we worry about something, we're worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet. And then we have to suffer twice if it does happen. So we can deal with it when it comes. We can, of course, think and prepare for the future, but not worry about it. There's a difference between thinking and preparing for the future and being aware of what could happen and what you want to happen and all of that, versus worrying. Worrying is an excessive energy where we linger on something. So yeah, worrying actually doesn't help us. It puts us in a more negative situation. Then we also have trust is a muscle. Allow yourself to let go and know what is meant for you is coming. This is so powerfully true. And oh my gosh, I can't even begin to describe how I've experienced this whole truth in my own life. But trust is a muscle. Allow yourself to let go and know what is meant for you is coming. So if anything does not work out, or if anything is outside of your control, realize that what is meant for you is always coming and will always come. And the things that are not meant for you are never going to be able to stay, no matter how hard you try. What is meant for you will always be, and you could never ruin something that is meant for you, because if it's meant for you, there's nothing that you could do to ruin the thing. Does that make sense? So yeah, anyway. The last card that we have here is, how can you be grateful for a past experience that has shaped you? How can you be grateful for a past experience that has shaped you? So even our negative experience, those are actually the ones that tend to shape us the most, actually, our negative experiences. So what are things that have happened in your past that have actually shaped you for the better? Okay, everything that you go through is actually shaping you for the better. It's always working in your favor. Everything that happens to you is always working in your favor. And it's even working more in your favor if you're able to see it that way, because that's where you actually integrate the positivity that can actually come out of those things. So yeah. How can you be grateful for the experiences that have shaped you? And I do feel like getting one more card for you, actually. I feel like we want one last one. So let's see. My group fours. Any last messages for my group fours for the month of September? We have, when you feel like you don't fit in, make space. I love this card. I absolutely love this card. When you feel like you don't fit in, make space. That is freaking beautiful. So if you feel like you don't fit in somewhere, if you feel like, oh, I'm not meant to do this, I'm not meant to be here, this is not me. If you feel like you don't fit in, make space, especially if you want to fit in, because it's not up to anybody else whether you fit in or not. This is up to you. And if you don't feel like you fit into a bubble, make that bubble bigger so that you do fit into it, okay? Make space for yourself. You get to give yourself the permission. You get to be the decider as if you fit in or not, right? So if you don't feel like you fit in, make space so that you do fit in, because give yourself permission, right? So that is what we have for your month of September, my beautiful group number fours. Thank you so much for joining me here for today's video. It looks like everything is going to get sorted out in a much better place, especially the things that you're dealing with or facing right now. It's just things are moving to so much more stability. Things are moving to so much more divine calibration for things to work out in a much more smoother way. Six of Swords is moving towards smoother waters, more stability, and unlocking your key to happiness, figuring out what's really going to bring you true happiness, and getting the key to that. So figuring out the way in which to make that happen, gaining the key to your happiness, figuring out what that looks like and all of that. So that's coming through for your month, and then resolving all the things that are currently on your mind and the current things that have been coming up, especially in regards to communication and all of that. So whew, it's going to a much better time, my loves. Thank you again so much. I'm sending you all so much love, and until I see you again, bye.